Hi, my name is Rui Komolainen. I am a lecturer from the Kajaani University of Applied Sciences, Finland. In this video, I will briefly introduce the competency-based model in the context of human resource management. The learning objectives of this lecture is presented in the slide. The development of core competence is central to organizational learning. According to Prohalat and Hamel, it develops from the collective learning in the organization. It generates a set of problem-defining and problem-solving insights to create competitive advantage for the strategic business units to find common interests, problems, capabilities, or opportunities presented by the external environment. They are the bundles of skills and technologies that enable an organization to provide a particular benefit to a customer and hence to compete more effectively. Organizations will have necessary competences and differentiating competences. Necessary competences are all those that go into creating value, but differentiating competences are those that give a particular organization or groups of organizations a competitive position. Competencies, on the other hand, are the underlying characteristics that are directly related to superior performance in a given role. In short, these are underlying characteristics that lead to superior performance. They include qualities, skills, attributes, and threats that help people become successful. They are behaviors that outstanding performers exhibit more often than typical performers at a higher level of complexity. So, a person's competency is a combination of skills, job attitude, and knowledge which are reflected in job behavior that can be observed, measured, and evaluated. Competency is a determining factor for successful performance. The emphasis of competencies is the behavior, which is an application of skills, job, attitude, and knowledge. For the purpose of this lecture, the two terms are used interchangeably. Next, I'm going to introduce the iceberg model of competency developed by Spencer and Spencer. The iceberg is divided to two parts. The visible part contains the skill and knowledge. These are acquired and learned capabilities to do a job, but are not sufficient to cause superior performance. The invisible part contains the self-image, values, threats, and motives. These are the competency criteria which can differentiate effective from non-effective performers. Therefore, the competency-based HRM framework can be used as the basis for HR functions to define its people strategy and serves as the linkage between individual performance and business results. The advantages of using the competency-based HRM models are: it provides a common understanding of critical success factors and the desired behaviors within the organization. It can also support the integration of the organizational processes and helps the employees to see the big picture. For example, when a new product is launched, how will this affect the competencies of all staff if the customer orientation competency is adopted in the organization? It will also help managers to better manage their teams and helps them make more effective decisions regarding cost-intensive processes like selection, hiring, and promotions. In addition, the competency-based HRM framework are very useful for objective assessment, feedback, and communication regarding performance. Next, we look at the advantages of this framework to the managers. It improves the accuracy and ease the effort for hiring and selecting the right candidate for a vacant position. It provides clear standards of excellence for easier performance evaluation discussions with direct reports. It also provides a clear foundation for dialogue between the manager and the employee about the performance, training, and development, career planning issues. There are also clear advantages from the employee's viewpoint. It indicates clearly the success criteria for a specific role, that is, the behavioral standards of performance excellence. It also supports objective assessment of their strengths and targeted areas for professional development. In addition, it provides a base for development discussion to enhance their skills. Basically, job description looks at what, whereas the competency framework focuses on how. Traditional job description analysis looks at the elements of the jobs and defines the job into sequences of tasks necessary to perform the job. Competency studies the people who do the job well and defines the job in terms of the characteristics and behaviors of these people to make a successful performance. There are two types of competency. The first is the soft competency, which relates to the ability to manage a job and develop interaction with other people. For example, problem-solving skills, leadership, communication, interpersonal skills. The second is the hard competency, which relates to the functional capacity of work. It mainly deals with the technical aspect of the job. For example, marketing research, auditing financial statements. Here is a list of top 10 popular soft competencies deemed important to achieve performance excellence. It is important to note that for a competency-based HRM framework to work in an organization, the alignment of the model to the organization strategy, its vision, mission, and core capabilities are crucial. In addition, the development should adopt an integration approach. This means involve the right people right from the development phase to ensure their voices are heard. This will create buy-in and more commitment, ownership to carry out the implementation at a later stage. Good communication is a critical success factor. Keeping those affected well informed on a timely basis with clear explanations, justifications are vital to gain their support. Next, we look at the key steps to develop competency-based framework in an organization. First, the company must determine the purpose of the framework and the HR processes for its application. Second, it must make a business case for its development and justify the benefits. This means conduct a cost-benefit analysis to decide if this resource-consuming project is worth pursuing. Third, if the outcome from the second step is to proceed with the development of the competency-based HRM framework, then the project team must prepare a plan which should include assessment of the resources and costs involved. Fourth, make sure the project team involves the line managers and employees in designing the framework. Fifth, clear good communication of the objectives and benefits to the staff are essential. Sixth, brainstorm for a list of core competencies based on the business strategy of the organization. Seventh, prioritize and define the key competencies for inclusion in the framework. And finally, test and finalize the competency-based HRM framework and ensure it is clearly communicated to all the affected employees across the different levels in the organization. Putting everything in a nutshell, once the organization is convinced that it will develop a competency-based HRM framework, it should start with the organizational strategy and context, and use that as the guiding pole for brainstorming, identifying, and selecting the key competencies that will support the strategic objectives. The project team should conduct proper role and process analysis by involving the right people. The framework developed should be validated, tested, and refined before final implementation to the whole organization. Over time, the list of competencies should be reviewed and checked against the evolving organizational strategy to ensure they are current and relevant at all points in time. For the competency-based HRM model to work, there are few critical success factors that an organization must take note. First, the description of the competency and its application should be as specific as possible. Second, the language needs to be simple to make it comprehensible by the larger audience. Third, the structure has to be simple and logical. And finally, the framework should be relevant for all people using it and being affected by it. Remember, the employees have different background, education level, and works in different functional areas. It is important to ensure everyone understands how the framework will apply to them and how they can use it for the designated purposes such as personal development, performance evaluation, recruitment and selection, talent retention, and so on and so forth. The framework should be flexible to accommodate for changes that might affect organizational transactions. Because the business environment is changing rapidly, so does the organization strategy, which must fit the changing environment. The behaviors should be distinct, describing only one aspect or one behavior, because the combination of two aspects may lead to a situation where an individual might be good at the first but poor at the second aspect. The framework should be supported by good performance and reward management system. Finally, acculturation is vital so that the framework will ultimately become part of the organizational culture for all levels, resulting in self-directed application for a sustainable success into the future. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to discuss with your project manager.